Welcome to the Value Dude, serving you fresh value daily since 2021. Today's video features a full course overview of TPC River Highlands, our 5 stat categories to focus on this week for research, and our 8 value picks for DK, not to mention our 6 contrarian plays and our 3 super deep dive contrarian picks as well. You don't want to miss, so stay tuned. And after a sensational finish to the 2021 U.S. Open, we take our next stop to the Travelers Championship, TPC River Highlands, Connecticut, a par 70, 6,841 yards. Fairways are bent grass and POA mix. Greens are bent grass and POA mix. The roughs are bluegrass and fescue. And this week, we're coming from a long track at the U.S. Open to the shortest track on the PGA Tour schedule. This is a Pete Dye redesign, tight fairways and twists typical of that Dye design. And we can expect a birdie fest this week as well. The winning score averaged at negative 16 under over the past 16 years. That's pretty low. These long hitters will try to overpower this course, but we'll find out shortly that the success truly lies in pure elite iron play. We'll talk about DJ's win last year in a minute, but for this tournament, we're going to want to value the players who will club down off the tee. There's par 4s between 450 yards. All but 2 are in that range. And one quick note about the weather this week, we've got rain Wednesday evening. This could lead to softer greens Thursday morning. Keep an eye on that. That's important. We could get an advantage on the field if indeed that's the case. And one last note about TPC River Highlands, course history is 12th most predictive with regards to courses on the schedule this year. And so, our 5 stat categories that predict value and success at TPC River Highlands start with strokes gained, tee to green. Strokes gained, tee to green is really just a combination of strokes gained off the tee plus approach plus around the green. That whole total gives you strokes gained tee to green. And what's interesting to note about this is DJ, the defending champ, he actually just performed average in strokes gained off the tee. He performed so well in strokes gained approach and around the green that his tee to green was in the top 5. So if that makes any sense to you, he did terrible off the green, so good in the other 2 categories that overall his tee to green game was exceptional. And that's what we're looking for this week. Strong iron play, and this is our strongest indicator this week, is strokes gained tee to green. And number 2 is good driving percentage. What good driving percentage is the percentage of times a drive results in a green in regulation, regardless of whether it's from the fairway or the rough. And this week, that's going to be important. It's more important than driving accuracy. So good driving percentage is our second category. Number 3 is strokes gained approach. This is always an indicator of strong iron play, and this week, iron play is key. So strokes gained approach has made another appearance on our top 5 categories to focus on yet again this week's. Number 4, green in regulation percentage. Birdie fest on the horizon this week, and we have to be on the green to make those birdies. This is another category that drives home that iron play. Green in regulation is going to be important this week. And our final category this week is par 4 scoring 400 to 450 yards. As we said before, all but 2 of these par 4s are less than 450 yards, and there's only 2 par 5s this week, so this range is going to be critical, and we need golfers who are dialed in from this range. And if these 5 categories don't make your head explode, we've got 2 more for you just to help you with any further decisions you may have. Bogey avoidance and putting has also proven to be significant on TPC River Highlands as well. So those are the 5 static categories to focus on. Strokes gained tee to green, good driving percentage, strokes gained approach, green in regulation, and par 4 scoring 400 to 450 yards. And as always, we've got our 8 value picks, 8,500 or less on DK this week. I want to just say a quick note about DraftKings. I think there's a ton of value on this slate. It was hard for me to keep it 8, but we tried to do our best. So let's start with Russell Henley, 8,300 on DK, coming off a letdown on Sunday at the U.S. Open. But overall, a great performance. He's tee to green, 30th to 27th from the previous week to this week. He's 26th in good driving percentage. He's 16th, par 4, 400 to 50 yards. His strokes gained approach, he's moved up to 4th place this week. His green in regulations, he's 15th, and he's 10th in bogey avoidance. He's hitting on all categories this week. Let's just hope he doesn't let us down. He's a great value at 8,300 on DraftKings. Number 2, Keegan Bradley, 7,900. He's 9th tee to green. He's 34th in good driving percentage. He's 6th from 9th in stroke gain approach from last week to this week. So he's moved up in that category. He's 18th in green in regulation. Another golfer who's hitting on a lot of our categories highly. Keegan Bradley is a very good value at 7,900. And number 3, Francesco Molinari, 7,700 on DK. He's moved from 46th 36th to 40th in tee to green from last week to this week. He had a pretty good showing. U.S. Open, he's returning to form. He's traditionally a great iron player, and at 7,700, he's a little underpriced. His price will go up as he performs better. Let's get him at 7,700 while it's still low. And that brings us to our fourth value pick, Aaron Wise, 7,400 on DraftKings, 23rd tee to green, sitting at 41st strokes gained approach, 9th in green and regulation. 7,400 just seems a little too cheap. I think we get good value this week. Number 5, Chris Kirk, 7,300, 39th tee to green, 48th up from 56th last week in good drive percentage. His par 4, 400 to 450, he's 5th, and he's 7th in bogey avoidance. 7,300 is fair this week. Number 6, Emiliano Grillo, 7,300. He can't let us down this week. I swear, he's hitting in all these categories. Tee to green, 37th, 13th good drive percentage, 3rd par 4, 400 to 450, 8th up to 6th now in stroke gain approach, and he's 2nd in green and regulation, 2nd in bogey avoidance. Let's go for 7,300 DraftKings. And our 7th value pick this week is Ches Reavie, 7,000. He's moving up in all these categories. Look at this. 58th up from 66th tee to green. He's up from 13th to 8th in good driving percentage, and he's from 33rd going up to 26th this week in approach. He's a past winner. So if we're seeing these improvements over the past few weeks, we can see he's coming into a form on a course he has an eye for. 7,000 is just a little too low this week on DraftKings. And our final value pick this week is Kyle Stanley, 7,000 on DraftKings. His tee to green is 47th. He's 44th in good driving percentage. He's 33rd in approach. He's also 13th in green and regulation, and he's 22nd in bogey avoidance. He's hitting a lot of our categories this week as well. He rounds out our picks this week. And moving on to our contrarian picks, we've got 6 this week, starting with Ricky Fowler at 7,300 on DraftKings, currently sitting at 6% ownership. Be sure to check that out, because if it goes up, he does not become a contrarian pick, but he sure does become a value, because he's coming off back-to-back top 15s. He did well in approach, putting, and around the green in those 2 performances. And if his tee to green shows up, he could have a blow-up week. We're talking a top 10. Let's see. 7,300 is very fair. Contrarian pick number 1 is Ricky Fowler. Number 2, Guido Migliozzi, 7,200 at the Open last week. 2.83 tee to green strokes gain. 0.487 was off the tee, so what that can tell you is the other gains were in the approach and around the green category. 2 key focuses this week. Not to mention, I checked European Tour stats for 2021, and he's 11th in green and regulation percentage. If he comes out like he did last week, there's no doubt he'll make the cut and return value at 7,200. And our 3rd contrarian pick this week is Doug Gim, 7,000 on DraftKings. Tee to green, 24th. Good driving percentage, 23rd. Approach, he sits at 17th. Greens and regulation, 16th. Quite highly rated in our categories this week, and right now he's going overlooked on DraftKings at 7,000. Number 4, Chase Seifert, 6,700 on DraftKings, 28th good drive percentage, 47th in approach, 44th bogey avoidance, and he is gaining 1.58 strokes gain in 8 rounds at TPC River Highlands. It's a small sample size, but he may have an eye for the course, and if that's the case, I'm going to take advantage at 6,700. And number 5, Robert Sloan, 6,500 on DraftKings. He's 51st in tee to green. He's 38th in good driving percentage. He's 27th in par 4, 400 to 450, and he's 24th in green and regulation. Not to mention 27th in bogey avoidance. So all we need to have him do is make the cut, drop a few birdies on the weekend, and he'll return tremendous value at 6,500. Speaking of 6,500, Satoshi Kodaira at 6,500 rounds out our contrarian picks of the week. I have no idea why he's priced at 6,500. He's coming off 3 straight top 20s. The pricing on DK is obviously broke for him. He's 30th to 24th in good driving percentage as well, and he also just needs to make the cut, drop a few birdies, and we'll get tremendous value out of Satoshi Kodaira at 6,500. And finally, that brings us to our deep dives, super contrarian plays, not for the faint of heart, so get ready. This week we've got Bo Van Pelt, 6,300, coming off a phenomenal start previously. He's also got course history. He's played 44 rounds here at TPC River Highlands, and he's plus 1.11 strokes gained on those rounds. Just need him to get hot this week, and he will surely pay off that 6,300 price on DraftKings. Number 2, Austin Cook, 6,100. He's moved from 42nd to 36th in good driving percentage. He's 20th in putting this season, and all we have to do is have him make the cut at 6,100 for him to provide tremendous value to our lineups. And our final super contrarian pick of the week is Cameron Percy, 6,300, sitting at 12th in good driving percentage, 3rd in greens and regulation, and 43rd in bogey avoidance. Not too shabby in some of our categories. Just need him to get out there and get hot with the putter, and we could have tremendous value at 6,300. And so there we have, we've got 17 golfers for your DraftKings lineups. We've got 8 solid value picks. We've got 6 contrarian picks, 3 super deep dive contrarian picks. Rotate these golfers in and out of your DraftKings lineups. We will provide additional value for you this week. That's all we do is value. It's our main focus. So we pride ourselves on performing well week in and week out. I encourage you to please like and subscribe and join us again next week. Good luck this week.